So, I'm going to show you guys how I make my pho. I use this pho concentrate. The directions on the back, and then pho concentrate. So you do one, there's like 4 little packets in here. You do 1 packet for 2 cups of water, and you put it on the stove, and for some reason, it looks like a little vegetables get added to it. Has a kind of good limey taste. Then, what you're gonna do, I'm gonna take these noodles. These are like rice noodles, I think. So they're gluten-free, but they taste very good. You just put them in there. Yeah, okay. And then sometimes if you have ramen, you can just take the beef packet out or whatever flavor you have. Put some ramen in there if you don't like rice or gluten-free, or you just don't have that on hand. Then you want to cut your meat very thin. This is maybe a thicker cut than you would usually do if you're going to put in there, because that's what I'm taking for a long time. But at the start, just so you know, you want to keep it on high for at the start, so it like cooks everything. Just put the meat in there, all cooked. And yeah, I'm just gonna set this down, get it into a good spot so you guys can watch me cook this. Okay, so I'm gonna need to cut some more of this. So you just wanna cut as thin as you can without cutting your hands or without having the knife slide off. You just wanna cut your thinnest possible pieces. And I'm using a very thick pork. You can probably buy a thinner pork. It's just the thick is what we had on hand. Like, make sure you know this. Don't go out for a big mission to buy stuff for pho unless you want to do like a big party and have everything nice. You can do pho with like common stuff you have in your house, like regular, like just do chicken cuts if you don't have nice pork or beef cuts. It won't be as quality, but it'll still be a good pho. The only thing is the pho broth. You might have to cook that harder, or buy a concentrate for it. The pho broth is kind of the harder thing to mix. Then really any vegetables you should have in your house will be good to add to this. I like to add serranos, but first we get a not spicy mixture. Cut out some of that because some of our family doesn't like spice. Then I'll add in spice and then do a regular mix to that. And what I'm going to be doing is for a multi-noodle, I'm going to have the ramen on hand. I'm going to take out all the noodles and a good portion of broth, and that'll be for the gluten-free people in the family. I'm pretty sure it's just one right now. And then we're going to do a chunk, and I'm going to take out all the rice noodles so they can have as much as noodles as they want. And I'm going to add the ramen noodles. And yeah. So I think I'm getting to a good amount of pork in there. I do want to do some more. And I am going to cook these porks on the stove afterwards. I'll make a separate video for that. I'll show it at the end of the video. But yeah, I'm going to make a separate video for cooking pork. So here, we're going to just, wow, this one's being difficult. Okay. Ooh, just get as much as you feel good of having in there of the pork. And then we're going to throw this bad boy, Serrano, got some good heat to it, after we get out the gluten-free and non-spice mix, which will be for mainly the girl in the family. But yeah, please subscribe, see more content. Kind of dropped out for a little, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, in September school hit on and got a little harder, but we're back on track. Getting about a video every other day or a video a week. I probably shouldn't have challenged myself to do a video a day. That was probably a bad idea. But yeah, sorry I don't have time lapse on this. Just skip ahead if you want, or if you want to hear all my talking, you can wait. I just need to see how thick that is. I don't want that, but this is going to be a roast for another video. Then I'm coming down to the last little bit of slits I'm going to put in here. Okay, and I think I'm good. I cut a lot. This, in total, it looked about that thick. And I basically cut it in half into thin strips and put in there. But these are both too thick to put in. Right now we got it boiling in there. So, I'm going to wash my hands. Because that still was raw meat. It wasn't a pre-prepared thing, as you could see. We're going to set the meat aside. Oops. Set the meat aside with the knife for another cook. Or if you get a smaller thing, you can just use it all up. But we're getting down to the very end of this. Just add in any spare veggies you have. Maybe arugula, parsley, rarely broccoli, maybe Brussels sprouts. Then you're going to turn the heat down closer to a medium stage. You can get a little. Oh yeah, my little sister's here. Just get a ladle. Okay. Yeah, get a ladle because you're going to be using that to serve it anyway. If it's like boiling the water already, just turn it down to low heat. You don't want anything to burn, even though it's just a faux. Okay, that was just a little serrano. Sometimes you can just put the serrano and like dip it in, and it'll just like put flavor in maybe if you like crack it. And if you have a salad mixing, you could just throw in some of that salad mixing. Just not, some things that are in your salad don't taste the best in pho. Just like, yeah, just, I don't really like the radish type stuff in here. It's not that best. Not the best. But yeah. Very good. Then, most famous for serving pho, I think most famous, is big bowls. Then after big bowls, these. Like these containers for to-go pho places. And we have a couple of those. So I'm just going to make sure this meat is cooked. I got to check out my biggest piece to make sure that's cooked. Biggest and latest piece. Got to make sure it's cooked. Okay. I think the meat's still cooking. Should be done very soon. Actually, you know what? I think it might be done. I think this might be done. It's kind of hard to tell. Like, that's my thickest piece, but it still has some mush to it. But yeah, if it's still like that, just turn it back on high again and let it cook up. But like I was saying with the ramen, we're going to add this in once we get the noodles, the gluten-free noodles out. The gluten-free rice noodles are actually pretty good, even if you aren't gluten-free. These ramen noodles, just like these, they're perfect. Little slurpy Japanese seeming noodles. So this beef packet, if you're used to ramen, you're obviously going to get a packet of your flavor. Just take that out. They don't taste any good in pho. Just store them in a separate thing if you want to make anything beef flavor. So we're going to add this in here when we get the gluten-free out. I think we're done, so we're going to take one of these to get noodles, obviously. We're going to put it in here. Going to get some of the beef too, because gluten-free people aren't always vegetarian. Okay, I think we got a pretty good amount of the rice noodles. And we got 2 pieces of pork. And now you're just gonna take some of the broth. Oh wait, and you don't have to do the separate little portions or anything. It's just me that's doing it. But yeah. Take your separate little portion of gluten-free if you're doing that, and then set that aside or give it to the person you want to serve right away. Then all you really need is one. If you're doing 2 packets, 4 cups of broth. But sometimes you can add 2 if you feel comfortable with it. I'm not gonna add 2 this time. I added 2 last time, and I got so many noodles. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave this in here. Actually, I think I'm gonna come back for one more slice of pork. Yeah, I'm gonna come back for one more slice of pork, because I do like mine being like meaty pho. I don't like it when I run out of meat. I'm like, where's all the meat in this bowl? I do that sometimes in my brain. Never really out loud, but in my brain. So yeah, just a few more chunks. This is getting like to the thin stage where it's like cutting through if I'm trying to cutting it thin. Yeah, I'm just throwing some. Okay, I think I'm good though. Now you're gonna either get a different knife or wash your knife, and you're gonna want to, if you're adding any peppers or anything like that, not even if it's a spicy pepper or anything, you want to get a different knife or cut it. You want to cut it like this. I'll show you. I'm gonna cut it. You're gonna want to cut it in half like this, in the long ways, not the short way. Then you're gonna want to cut that. Then, now you're gonna just want to cut teeny little chops. So it's like this, like these little half bit cuts that are half cut again. Then you're gonna put those in there. You're gonna want to use the noodle server to stir it around while you just put your noodles in there. And it's gonna be really good. And if you have microgreens are good. Any of the microgreen types, any of the microgreen mixes are good. So yeah. Then what you're gonna want to do is take a fresh lime, most preferably, not a lemon. Lemons, like, they're good, but like not the best for pho. You just want to juice that in there with all the juice you can get. It makes the pho really good. But yeah. And this is going to be a delicious serving of pho. I'm just getting a regular bowl. Sometimes you like wooden bowls, gives you the old classy look. 1 serving of noodle. 1 or 2 servings of the broth. And it's going to be so Dijon. Like this. Wow, that really fogged the lens. Well, hope you liked the video. Click here to see my latest video. Click here to subscribe, it would really help. And click here to see the cooking channel. See you in the next one. Stay on the maze.